Greetings, geeks! You are watching Geeks in Space. I'm Rob Commander Taco. This is episode 626, and I am here today with exactly who you'd expect: Chris DeBona.
Hi.
And Rob Roseboom.
That's me.
Everybody had a glorious weekend.
I wouldn't say glorious, but it was okay.
I drove from Los Angeles to the Puget Sound area.
Nice.
Rob, did you get the hailstorm by you?
Ooh. We did not get hail. It just rained like crazy. I saw that you said it was hailing. So
yeah, I had
for the power to go out.
I had nickel-sized hail all over my deck. It was pretty cool.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. All
That's
right.
Exciting.
Oh, good. The stream works. Thanks, On Blue.
Yep.
Let's see here. What do we got on the list to talk about? Global chip shortage, creating new problem, which is fake components.
Is this a new problem, or is it just people are like, now it's happening to me?
I mean, it's probably happening more.
Yeah.
Because people are getting desperate, and it's all up and down the supply chain, and people are taking advantage of this situation to like ship you faulty chips or the wrong chips.
They didn't quite qualify.
Right. This one didn't pass QC.
I'm going to tell a story from 2005 at a certain large search company. I'm not going to tell you which one.
DuckDuckGo?
No, they weren't around in 2005.
Was it Ask Jeeves?
Yes.
At Ask Jeeves.
At Ask Jeeves. We had this guy, Chris Bosch, and he was honestly one of these logistics negotiating geniuses. So he goes to Micron to get, an enormous amount of memory for our server rooms.
64K?
Yeah, like maybe 70
at least.
Yeah.
128K?
Yeah. He comes back, and so because we were just starting to build our own motherboards and qualify our own motherboards, and so he came back and he said, "You know what? I got this memory for 10 cents on the dollar." And we're like, "Whoa!" No, not the basketball player. This is just a guy. Although he had a motorcycle.
Chris Bosch, the guy.
Cool. Yeah, he's just a guy. And anyway, so he comes back and he says, "I got this memory for like 10 cents on the dollar," and we're like, "That's amazing. How did you ever pull such a thing off?" And he's like, "Oh, well, it's not 1066 megahertz."
Oh, no.
On kilohertz. And we're like, well, what is it? He's like, well, they only qualified it to like 980. Or it was like 7% less. And we're like, the clock frequencies on these motherboards are not just like, I mean, and he's like, yeah, but we can make it work, right? And a very smart person actually made it work. So we ended up getting, gigabytes upon gigabytes upon gigabytes of memory for 10 cents on the dollar, just because we were willing to underclock the memory by this like unnatural, not even numbered amount. And it was just like, yeah, so there's a ton of stuff that doesn't qualify, and it's just waiting there for you to take it. If you've ever been to these big electronics marts, you can find like people like, how important is actual working for you? How good is your cooling? And you're like, I know what this is.
There's gradations of functional.
Yeah. And like, I remember even down to like dumb things like phone batteries. They're like, so here's the thing. It says 3 amps. It means 2.5. It'll deliver 3 amps though. So you have to be very careful. Don't buy that one. Buy this one over here. And I'm like,
all right.
Like, this is not good.
These seat belts work just fine as long as you don't get in a crash over 100 miles an hour.
Yeah. So can you keep your speed to under 70 miles an hour? Can you make sure you never get rear-ended from the back right?
Right. It's Achilles tail light.
Yeah, the Achilles tail light.
I spent a long time trying to write a time loop story, and part of the story was that you needed the Pentium chips that had the math coprocessor bug, and it was a plot point in the story that the character managed to get a whole bunch of them really cheap when he was doing research. So nobody else could replicate his mad science because nobody knew that he was using broken Pentium chips. That was my rationale.
So speaking of good books,
yeah.
during my drive, I listened to Project Hail Mary, which is the book from Andy Weir that just came out. It's so good. I'm only halfway through it. It's fantastic.
Is anybody interested in doing the read?
It's Ray Porter who did all the reading for the Bobaverse novels and for Dennis Taylor. So, and honestly, it is a cracking good science fiction story. I like, do not wait. Go. Just go. Go. I'm not going to tell you a thing about it. It's really, really
well,
good.
Okay. Just tell me, like, the Mars was the first one, Moon was the second one. What's the general setting?
Tau Ceti.
Oh, all right. Sure. So
yeah,
you needed a little more gas to get there.
Well, I don't even want to tell you how it's so good. So good so far. Go.
I could use a book. I could use a book.
So good.
The only thing I have to do in the next couple of days is watch The Naked Gun and finish The Host.
Yeah, I have to finish The Naked Gun. Yeah.
So, The Host, it's a 2007 Korean monster movie that has been recommended to me by many people, most recently Rob. And we watched like half of it, and then Kathleen noped on out. So
and she's out.
It gets a little hard to follow. It's a little weird.
Yeah. Windows 10 to be retired in 2025. Is this official now?
This is, I guess, their official position now.
Yeah. 3 hours ago. Well, that's good reporting.
That's right. Timely.
We're right there. We're at the cutting edge of news.
Bleeding edge.
Yeah, they were talking about this because someone like leaked some marketing document.
Are in a Twitter war.
Oh, what's happening?
That was me. Sorry.
Oh, okay. I was like, is it something on my dumb screen?
No, it was my dumb screen. I opened the tab with a different story.
Okay, that's fine.
Yep. Windows 10, yeah. They're going to replace it with something, which really makes me wonder what they're going to replace it with.
Nothing. The last version of Windows.
So we're all just going to run things back in BIOS.
Yep. We're going back to DOS, boys.
All right. This GUI thing was a fad.
I like this. Mr. Nadella said he was particularly excited by features such as digital personal assistant Cortana, which is intended to compete with Apple's Siri.
The first thing that you disable, and that's not true. The first thing you disable is the fact that everything in the system goes to Bing, and you want to direct it to Ask Jeeves. Because they had super...
Edge? Are you running Edge?
I don't mind.
I've pinned Edge.
I don't mind
I put Edge on your desktop.
I don't mind Edge.
Did you put Edge in your taskbar? Hi, I'm Edge. Hey, how's it going?
I'm
I know
edging
you didn't put Edge on your taskbar.
No,
Would you like to make it your default browser?
Would you like to make Edge your default browser?
It's there's so many ads in Windows. It just it's really frustrating.
Would you please put in your feedback in the feedback hub? So the thing that I uninstalled from Windows is Feedback Hub because that's the source of so many of their dumb spam at the taskbar.
The first thing that I always have to do is Google what the thing is to replace the default search engine because it always sends me to Bing, and that is not good. I need my Ask Jeeves.
I just leave it alone, you know. Back in the day, I used to go and try to strip everything that I thought I would never use, and then it would always break somehow in the next update. And the best thing to do is just use it if you absolutely have to, but don't touch it. Just let it be.
Yeah.
Let it naturally be as gigantic as it wants to be.
That's some Windows Vista thinking right there.
Yeah.
So for me, I don't screw around with the search bar and the taskbar because I never use it. It's extremely rare for me to end up there. So I don't go to Bing, or I don't bung things because it's like the past tense of Bing is bung, as you might remember. And
bung,
you know, so.
That's a funny word.
There was like I'm sure it was all made up, but it was a guy recording his getting fired. And one of the things he had convinced his boss of the past tense of Bing was bung, you know? Anyway.
Don't lie to bosses.
I don't know. He was firing him. So it was presented humorously.
Burn that bridge then.
Yeah. Anyway, so they say it's not going to have a name of Windows 11.
It's going to be like Prince. It's just going to be an emoji.
Oh, what if that's true?
Wouldn't that
Well,
be the
my
best?
question is 11 a lucky or unlucky number in Chinese?
I was wondering about that too, because iOS 13 would theoretically be around the bend, and I can't imagine them actually releasing iOS or iPhone 13. Like, it's going to have to be like a 12S or something just for that.
Well, I know that, I was in Shenzhen and I looked at the elevator buttons and it was like half of them are missing. So, so 4 is very unlucky. 5 and 7 are here nor there.
Did you catch that in Loki in the elevator? There was an elevator door button just with Miss Minutes as the button.
Oh, funny. I haven't watched Loki yet.
What if they're going? What if they're going a
want
new
to.
direction and they're not naming it anything? It's just going to be a sound.
Ooh.
Hmm?
Like,
And then for people who are hearing impaired,
right.
you
I'm going to
can
press
get
this
one
button.
that just gives you a smell.
And if you don't have hearing or smelling,
then-
it has
then
a
the
thing on the
newest
keyboard
Windows
that
is-
punches you in the stomach.
Or the newest Windows is not for you.
That's right.
Yes.
That's the direction.
Go use OS X.
You can't call it that. You gotta. Oh yes, I had to upgrade this morning, and we all have to just use sound effects now. We're gonna have to communicate using clicks and tones. It'll be like some alien
what version
race.
of Windows do you use? Well, I use whoop.
Oh sure.
Whoop.
Yeah, it's gonna be fine. This is gonna lead
But,
to no
but which
confusion.
PWUP version? Oh,
This was so I had this discussion with my wife recently. I was talking about dumb things that were named, naming a programming language C#, so that it messed with the anchor tags on every web page and was completely unsearchable. But then wasn't there like a military contractor who renamed itself into something that you couldn't search for? I can't remember what it was. It was one of the big
Blackwater turned itself into XE.
yeah, because you
That
couldn't
was hard to
really-
search
You
for.
couldn't search for that.
Yeah.
Super.
And they felt that then they wouldn't be held accountable for their actions.
Well, that's how you do it.
Yeah, because you got to break some computer system so that you can
Yep.
kill people for a living.
That's right. So
Petition urging Jeff Bezos to buy and eat the Mona Lisa.
well, yeah,
First of all,
he's got a diet.
This is just dumb.
He's
This
got to
is
go
just
on a
dumb.
diet to go on the flight
is-
with the $28 million
I
ticket.
love this story.
Right.
We need
Why?
an evil billionaire, right? We need that in our world right
You
now
mean-
to help us.
to go with
Help.
Elon Musk.
Elon Musk is just, a weirdo. He's not necessarily evil. We need some guy who we can focus on, who there's a lot of bad stuff happening and we need to focus on one person. And Jeff Bezos could both help bail out France. This is something they've talked about for a while, selling the Mona Lisa. And then it would be fantastic if he ate it in a show of just how much he doesn't care. He has so much money to spend.
Doesn't even
He's
matter.
going to do something because the Mona Lisa is not going to taste good. It's not a pleasurable experience.
Wait,
No.
wait. I disagree. Now, how do we know? Until we
Without
try it.
science.
It could have been like woven with little strands of beef jerky.
I don't
and
think it
dipped
would
in
have
gravy.
lasted.
Maybe all those colors are just different gravies.
That could be.
This is unlikely. Very, very unlikely.
I mean, sure, it was linseed oil and rocks for the blue, but
Lots of
it's okay.
Some varnish.
Well, I'm sure there's like some lead and some mercury, some poisonous chemicals mixed in the paint because that's what they used those things for back in the
Are
day.
you trying to kill Jeff Bezos?
no.
I'm just saying that would show, like, it says something when you eat something that is both hazardous and doesn't taste good just because you can, right? That is a statement if he eats the Mona Lisa.
He's aesthetically
honestly,
leaning into the Lex Luthor thing already. It would work.
Yeah. Well, so okay, I'd like to say a few things. First of all, the Mona Lisa, it's not that impressive, especially not in person. It's like,
Small.
oh, you like walk by and you're like, that was it.
Well, you didn't
And
walk
then-
by it. You waited in line for 2 hours.
No, there was like when I went to the Louvre, I don't know, maybe it was just like a Wednesday morning or something crazy like that. We were going to the Costume Institute, but we walked by the Mona Lisa, and I was like, oh,
they're running a special 2 looks for $1.
two looks for $1
at the Louvre,
for a
at
franc,
the Louvre.
for a euro,
At the
for a euro,
at the
Louvre. That's Institute Costume.
Nice art you got there. Well, sure, it'd be a shame if someone ate it.
Should be a shame if someone ate it.
I have to be honest with you. This is not a story though, because first of all, the French government, $50 billion doesn't matter to a government the size of France. It just doesn't. And they're never going to give up the Mona Lisa, right? It's just,
No, it's
in Edge of Tomorrow. I'm sure that they fought off the aliens around the Louvre specifically to protect the Mona Lisa.
No, this
and
is
drove them
just
into the parking lot. This is.
I
Just,
can't wait for the Netflix show about the alternative universe in which Jeff Bezos did buy the Mona Lisa. And
eating Mona.
And then,
the thing
rich
is,
people started eating great works of art all over the world.
This movie has happened. It was with Matthew Broderick, and I believe
I remember when Oprah tried eating the pyramids, but
it took a while.
No. Basically, was it The Freshman? Yeah, where basically
The Freshman is not about eating great works of art, Chris. It's about eating endangered species.
I know, but it's the same concept.
No, it's not.
It's extremely rare. You bring together rich people, you feed them that, but you really feed them chicken. And so like we could feed Jeff and his cohort of billionaires. I don't know, a Monet. There's lots of Monet. They're really the white chicken of
that movie was kind of based on the club in New York. Was it called the Adventures of the Explorers Club or something?
Yeah,
where they would get and eat weird things. That club still exists. That was where they famously fed people what they said was mammoth steaks or mammoth stew, and it turned out to be just turtle soup. But
maybe this is why NFTs are gaining steam. It's just to starve the billionaires because they can't eat non-fungible tokens after they've already finished off all the Renaissance masters.
It's the only way we can save our art from being consumed by the billionaires.
Here's the thing. NFTs were inevitable. Let me explain.
Oh boy.
So if you have a currency that you can't really trade for real assets, thank you, Magnum PI. You're right. If you have something you can't really turn into real assets, right? It's kind of like money laundering, right?
Oh yeah, it's diversification.
One of the things, no. So one of the things you can do with money that you can't bring into a country is you buy fine art. Mm-hmm. You bring it into a secured storage. You move it onto your boat. You take it to another place. You put it into another secured storage, and then you sell it in the new location. Boom!
We've all seen Tenet. Right? We know where you store your art.
Right, exactly. Actually, those are very interesting places, right? Because that's how people move money between countries while reducing taxation, right? And so NFTs are literally just that. They're a way of transferring cryptocurrency into a asset, and then you turn it back into other cryptocurrency. It's all dumb.
The main thing that I think about NFTs is just that I don't think that real money is going into NFTs. I think that it's just pre-existing
it's
Bitcoin.
Crypto.
It's pre-existing Bitcoin whales that need to diversify.
NETH, NETH whales. This is absolutely what it is. It's just it's a transformer function for fake money and for fake art.
That's why
fake money again.
That's why I refuse to sell my Bitcoin. And turn it into who's the famous artist that sold all of his Beeple? Yeah, I'm not turning it into an original Beeple.
You should sell an NFT of the first chips and dip post. That's what you should do.
I started doing it, but then it was like $80 to do it. I'm like, it's not worth $80 for a joke.
No, I'll hook you up with a guy.
Oh, you know a guy? Yeah, okay.
I know. You know a guy.
Of course I know a guy.
He's been on Geeks on Space. Harper could help you with this stuff. He's good at everything. Or Dylan Field. He's such a nice person. He's a huge fan of NFTs. This is the thing. It's like for all of my complete kind of disgust with cryptocurrency and NFTs, I know some people in it who I just adore.
Well, and there's elements to it that I really like. I absolutely adore the notion that the artist would get a dividend on resale of their work.
That's just moral rights restated as NFTs. You know.
Yeah, I like that a lot. I think that's fantastic, and because I'm all for supporting art, but I don't. The fundamental thing about the NFT is weird. Like, you're not getting the copyright, so
You're not getting the art.
Like, I'd be fine not even getting the art. Just getting the copyright is a thing that has value.
But don't you want to sell a cryptographic hash that relates to your first chips and diff posts?
Oh,
and points at it and says, "There it is." More
than anything, Chris, you've nailed it. That's my long-term life.
You could be the next disaster girl. You could be the next, Leanna overly attached girlfriend gal.
Oh yeah, that's not my plan.
That's not your plan.
That's not my plan.
Or even hit the heights of scumbag D&D player.
Oh, what? How much did he get?
He could get anything, but I think Rob and I might have to negotiate because I think I'm the photo taker and he's the subject. So we'll go halvesies.
Okay, I'm gonna refill my iced tea. You said, and I'm gonna do the exact thing I did last time.
All right, this is gonna be loud. Hold on, I gotta pee.
There you go.
Yeah, cool. All right, so Bezos is not gonna eat art. It's a bummer.
He's not gonna eat art.
So there's a aerospace plane that claims...
Is it just all scam?
Yeah, it's all scams
today?
all the time.
12. Yeah, sure. They're gonna go 12 to 24 times the speed of sound at an altitude of 150,000 miles. This company with 15 people. They're gonna take care of you. Don't worry about it. They'll give you an NFT for the flight.
Do I get a free drink if I buy first class ticket?
You'll be a free drink if they're even moderately successful.
I'm gonna get liquefied.
A tin can.
The government's been researching now, and I think they're funding deliveries around the world using SpaceX, like using Starship.
Sure.
Yeah. And I mean, the loony of that is like, what do you have that is so valuable that there's so few of that it needs to be on the opposite side of the globe in 1 hour, but it takes like a couple of hours to fill up a Starship with fuel, and then you got to get your special thing there. Like, there's a lot of things about this that don't make sense to me.
Novelty T-shirts. Maybe that's the...
Well, I think that you're both not thinking about the value of a Super Bowl winner T-shirt, because right now what they do is they print both.
Oh, right. Sure.
And they have to throw half of them away.
Well, they donate the other half. They donate the other half and then write it off on their taxes.
Right.
Yeah. So, but you wouldn't have to do that, right?
Right.
You know, so
if we just launched from the satellite into space.
Yep.
Yeah.
Of course, there would be some problems, I assume, with, the canisters doing damage when they didn't slow down properly.
It's like a T-shirt cannon from space.
Yeah.
Catch.
You probably don't want to be there unless the parachute deploys.
The parachute doesn't deploy and everybody in the stadium is killed.
If the parachute doesn't deploy, you got to go.
Only if they want a T-shirt, Rob. Yeah. The targeting is really, really precise. Everyone ends up like Ned Flanders' wife.
Ooh,
in The
harsh.
Simpsons,
I was actually explaining to one of my children this morning the old NROL satellites that used to like jettison film canisters. They'd have the planes like try to catch them when they were still falling on the parachutes. And this boggled his mind. Like, yeah, it is exactly as stupid of an idea as it sounds.
And it worked.
It
worked
totally
great.
worked.
And it actually became the background story for Ice Station Zebra by Alastair Reynolds. No, that's the modern science fiction author. Ice Station Zebra. I will. This is one of the it has Rock Hudson, Patrick McGowan, one of the last movies I've ever seen that had an intermission in the middle of it. It's so good. Basically, it's set in the North Pole. So it's good.
In the
really
movie
good.
In the Heights, which is like a 2.5-hour movie based on a musical.
I haven't watched it yet. Is it good?
I mean, do you like musicals? Because I like musicals.
You know who doesn't like musicals?
The guy that's sandwiched in between us.
Yes, and my wife, she is not a fan of
really?
musicals. She liked Hamilton,
Sure.
absolutely, but she has a very low tolerance for musicals. Rob?
I concur. Why sing it when you could say it?
Yeah.
That's what I say.
Well, anyway, there's a moment in that movie where they refer to the intermission that would exist had this been a play, and I found that very charming. But the only time that I've ever been, there was an intermission.
Is that Ernest Borgnine?
It is Ernest Borgnine.
There was an intermission at that Quentin Tarantino movie, the one that.
Oh yeah, but that was more. This was the last honest one.
Yeah, that was about style.
I mean, I went out and got a drink. Felt like an intermission. It was 3.5 hours long. Ice Station Zebra. All right, let's see.
Remember the name. Your life may depend on it.
I promise you it's not gonna.
Anyway, the thing I was going to say about Venus Aerospace is, extraordinary claims need extraordinary proof. And when you have 15 people who are saying that they're going to produce a plane that can fly at hypersonic speeds in a ballistic trajectory.
Yeah.
Sure, I get the science, but I'm not convinced that 15 dudes are going to pull it off from the trailer park.
How much does it cost to release a press release?
Nothing at all.
Nothing.
So,
it's
all right.
free.
Cool.
Maybe they're selling NFTs.
That's true. They're funding the whole operation on Beeples.
On people.
It's the first wholly Beeple-funded startup.
I got a bone to pick with Slack. Or with IRC and with this guy Lee. So Freenode's toast, right? Because the private internet access guy out of Korea, a crown prince, whatever, Korean royalty doesn't matter. He decided to exert himself and take his domain and run, and now everyone's going to libera.chat, which is fine. Meanwhile, companies all over the world have been moving to Slack and some brilliant podcasts to Discord.
Oh, sure. Superior.
But I have to be honest with you, I don't think that Slack is in any way good for company operations. Because there's no memory, there's no scrolling back. I mean, not really. You can't keep up. Like Rob, if you really want me to look at something, you better fucking text me or email.
Oh, for sure.
Because there's no way you can keep up with the vast amount of ephemeral information in these channels. It's just and then you have people instrumenting their games on Discord and Slack, and it's like you got to be really careful about this stuff. So.
If I know I'm going to see you in a meeting that involves Discord, I will Discord message you. But otherwise,
which is fine, right? Which is reasonable. Also, if any of the listeners have a coupon code for the Uni pizza ovens, now's a good time. I just got an ad.
Is this a sponsored podcast? Do we need to?
No. Listen.
Do we need to remind Magnum PI and Ambalu to click like and subscribe?
No, this is just Chris is sponsored by them, not us.
No. Let me explain what I'm doing. So I would like to buy a Nudie pizza oven. I have flexible timing on delivery because Christine is going on a trip.
How large is this oven?
It's a 16-inch pizza oven. It's not. They're really great, honestly. We used a friend's. We went over to a friend's house and we used one to bake pizzas. It's a solid pizza oven. It's really good. It's really well made. Anyway, so what I do is I go onto the site, I create an account, I fill up my cart, and then I leave. I'm negging the site because I know that eventually they'll send me a coupon code to come back and activate. Magnum PI has an Uni pizza oven. What do you think of your pizza oven, Magnum? Comment in the Discord. But seriously, so Magnum, if you got a coupon code after buying it, I'm your guy. Share with the channel. So yeah, because
those dude look nice, Chris. I'm looking at one right now. Yeah,
they're fantastic. So yeah, I'm going to set one up outside and have some pie,
some za. Oh, those are cute.
Some za. Yeah.
How really hot did they get?
950 degrees.
That's hotter than my grill.
Which is right. Which is the right thing to have happen.
My grill tops out at about 800.
Only used it once, man.
I have a pizza stone and I make pizzas in my oven sometimes, but I gotta tell you, it's like a 1 in 3 chance that my pizza just like totally decomposes on the stone and turns into like pizza goo.
Yeah.
The problem is that stone is hard to get hot enough and maintain a temperature even when you preheat it.
So what we did is we had a pizza steel. So the steel gets really, really hot. And then we actually switched over to the cast iron method, where we have a 14-inch cast iron pan. We make it inside that, and it's super freaking hot. And then we take it from the super freaking hot, oven onto the stove, keep it hot, lay the pizza inside it, and then put it back in the oven for it's usually like 6 or 7 minutes. But if we had an uni, we could make it in 1 to 2 minutes.
Are you hungry, Chris? Because we were talking about Slack.
Honestly, it's so unsurprising that people use Slack. Now, the amount of data they got out of EA just via Slack, they got developer credentials and they went to town.
So, okay, backing up, hackers broke into Slack for EA Games and stole 700 gigs or something of source code and data for unreleased games.
They got FIFA source code, Frostbite source code.
To be fair, the FIFA source code for FIFA 21 was just in a folder labeled copy of FIFA 2018.
With new names and stuff,
Yeah, they just regex in new characters and new stats. Yeah. I mean, my only big thing about chat rooms and chat software is I think all of it is basically just, it's lame that we keep making new ones. But it's like every software engineer at some point in their career is like, I'm going to build a bug tracker. In the same way that every corporation at some point is like, I'm going to build a chat room. It's just something that happens with some sense of regularity. But I will say, I still believe that among the dozen or so unintended things that caused the demise of that place we all worked back in the day was the Sarbox requirement that we switch to Jabber. Because as over the course of a year, we switched from a public IRC server to a private Jabber server. I think that that had unintended and unquantifiable side effects about communication with users, and I think it was damaging to us.
You think that hurt community engagement?
I do.
So I will tell you, you're not wrong. But the reason why Slack exists, is that so people on Wall Street used to use their Bloomberg terminals to chat amongst themselves. And then Bloomberg TV ran a number of stories that were based on the basically traffic analysis of not the chats, but of the movements of employees from firm to firm. So they would basically notice when somebody unsubscribed from Bloomberg terminal at, say, Goldman Sachs, and then resubscribed at Merrill Lynch or whatever, right? So this was a big story. And meanwhile, Slack's like, hey, if you need ephemeral self-deleting messages, that are not discoverable after 6 months or a year or whatever your deprecation policy is, we're your guys. And they're like, sounds great, and so they all sort of en masse switch from Bloomberg over to Slack, right? And the thing is, this is because they needed a medium that was not discoverable so that they could do their crimes, so they could front run their accounts, so they could do their finance bro thing, man.
Their insider trading.
A system that works well if you're a freedom fighter trying to evade oppression and a dictatorship, but not necessarily the system you want for the people in charge of handling the money.
Right. That's why
they would say the exact opposite, right? Because they're like, listen, we don't want activists using this thing. We want to rip people off, so.
That's why I think from now on, we should only communicate via meme GIFs that we release as NFTs.
This is a fine idea.
It's going to work. I can see it.
You're going about the future, right?
Oh, yeah. I got plans, man.
Okay. I also wanted to say, listen, Andy Weir, did we talk about Andy Weir's new book in the podcast itself yet?
I don't know if we talked about it before we hit record.
I think it was before. It's so good. Project Hail Mary. I've been listening to it on Audible during my enormous drive from Los Angeles. It is so freaking good. It is cracking good. I totally recommend it.
Project what?
Project Hail Mary.
All right. If I'm going to read a book, though.
Good. It's so good. Don't don't read anything about it. Just go into it.
Oh, I saw the cover. It's kind of yellow.
Yeah.
Spoiler.
Yeah, there's some yellow to it. There are stars and suns. But yeah.
I need to read a couple of books. I got a couple in my pile that I need to get into, but it's hard to read books now, man. I don't got any attention span anymore.
Audiobook it.
When I was making pens like for 2 hours a day, I was churning through audiobooks like nobody's business, but like nobody needs pens anymore. So I don't have.
What do you mean nobody needs pens anymore?
Nobody needs pens anymore. I made like 200, 300 of them, and turns out that saturated the people who needed pens.
Rob made all the pens.
Yeah, I made them all.
You made all the pens for the free, not the free, the donate to causes that you
donate to whatever cause I don't think is horrible.
All the other causes were like, hey, it's us, not you. Stop sending pens.
There was nobody who ever asked me to suggested a charity that I said no to, but there are charities out there that I would have said no to. That's the only reason I even caveated it that way. Yeah. I didn't like the idea that they would, I don't need to go and diss on charities, but there are charities I don't.
NAMBLA. There's some charities that everyone hates.
Oh, there we go.
That's a charity, Chris. I think that's just an organization. An unfortunate one at that.
Used their pen today.
Yeah, he used his pen to log into Microsoft Teams. That's why his Microsoft Surface tablet's all scarred up.
Well, it's really awkward, right? Because you have to actually sign with a wet signature to sign into Teams. I don't know if Microsoft really understands what they have there.
Yeah, that's the thing. They're too focused on making sure that we all use DuckDuckGo whenever we log into a new install of whatever Windows emoji is going to be called. Oh no, wait, it's Windows.
Edition.
That's right. Yeah, it's not a stylus. Although I can make a stylus if anybody needs a stylus. Okay, folks. Does anybody else have anything else before we go about our merry day?
9.
All right. Then let's say goodbye to Magnum PI, Baloo, and the rest. Rob Roseboom, goodbye.
Tom Steinberg.
Goodbye.
That's a listener who I really like. And John Fraser. I don't know if he's a listener on the regular, but yeah, he's a good egg.
Goodbye, Chris DeBona.
Bye.
I'm Rob Commander Taco Maldo. We'll see you tomorrow night on Geeks in Space. We're watching The Naked Gun. Bye.